You know how it starts. It's just that tiny little vibration in your pocket, so you check it. And usually it's nothing important, right? Just a random like, a comment. But then, suddenly it's 20 minutes later and you're still there, just scrolling. And by the time you actually put the phone down to go to sleep, you feel kind of, well, empty. Look, we all know we should probably take a break. I mean, I'm sure you've seen those aesthetic vlogs where someone quits social media, drinks matcha, and reads a book a day. They make it look so easy. But honestly, that's the highlight reel. Nobody really talks about the ugly side of quitting. They don't talk about the withdrawal. So, to figure out what actually happens to our brains when we cut the cord, we didn't just guess. We looked at the real diaries and data from 50 different people who went cold turkey for 30 days. We tracked their sleep, their anxiety, and their focus. And I have to tell you, what we found wasn't just better productivity, it was actually kind of scary. On day 3, most people didn't feel zen. They felt symptoms that looked a lot like substance withdrawal. And by day 7, nearly a third of them tried to quit the whole experiment. But for the people who actually pushed through that boredom wall, something incredible happened around day 21. It's this thing scientists call receptor upregulation. So, this is the timeline of exactly what happens to your body when you log off. And I'm going to be real with you. Day 4 is a beast. Before we look at the diaries, we need to understand why this feels so hard. Think of your brain like a thermostat, but instead of temperature, it measures dopamine, that chemical that makes you feel good. When you scroll TikTok or Instagram, you are basically flooding your brain with cheap, free dopamine. It's too much. So, to protect itself, your brain actually burns off its own sensors. It's called downregulation. It's basically the same reason why the first cookie tastes amazing, but the 10th one makes you feel sick. And that is why, when you finally put the phone down, real life feels kind of gray. It feels boring. You aren't depressed. You just physically can't feel the simple stuff anymore because your sensors are burned out. Let's look at 3 real people from our study so you can see what I mean. First, there's the student. He's 22, spending about 7 hours a day on his phone. He told us he feels constantly behind in life, but he can't even read one page of a textbook without reaching for his pocket. Then there's the numb. She's 29, 9 hours of screen time. She isn't even anxious. She just feels nothing. Music sounds flat to her. Food tastes bland. She scrolls just to feel something. And finally, we have the bargainer. He tries to quit every month using those app timers or grayscale mode. He thinks he can outsmart the algorithm, but, spoiler alert, he can't. So day 1 goes by. It's actually pretty easy. It feels new. You feel proud of yourself. But then comes day 2. Across all 50 people we tracked, the most common symptom on day 2 was something called the phantom reach. One guy said, "I literally felt my thumb twitching, trying to click an app that wasn't there." It was pure muscle memory. The student got super irritable. Without the phone to distract him, his brain was forced to actually listen to his own thoughts. And he didn't like what he heard. He wrote in his log, "I feel like I'm in a small room and the walls are shrinking. I have to do something. Anything." This is the dopamine dip. Your brain is screaming for a hit, and when it doesn't get it, it starts pumping out stress hormones. And here is where it gets interesting. You don't just sit there. You try to replace the phone. Our data showed a 40% increase in caffeine and junk food during the first 3 days. Your brain is desperate for a reward. By day 5, the anxiety calms down a bit, but it's replaced by something way worse. Aggressive boredom. The numb subject wrote, "I sat on my couch for 2 hours just staring at the ceiling. I felt like I was going insane. Time moves so slowly." Now, this is the filter. This is where 60% of people give up. They think, "This isn't working. I'm just bored." But they're wrong. The boredom is the work. But here is the trap. The most dangerous day isn't day 1. It's actually day 14. Remember the bargainer? Well, he made it to 2 weeks. He felt better. He felt cured. So he told himself, I can just check Instagram for 5 minutes. I have control now. Within 48 hours, his screen time went from 0 right back to 6 hours. We call this the binge effect. When you starve the brain and then give it a taste, it doesn't just sip, it drowns. Relapse rates on day 14 are higher than any other day. But for the people who stayed strong, day 21 brought the big reveal. The numb subject reported something really strange. She said, I was walking to the grocery store and I noticed the trees. The green looked greener. I listened to a song I've heard 1,000 times and I actually got goosebumps. That is upregulation. Because she hadn't flooded her brain for 3 weeks, her sensors grew back. Her sensitivity returned. She didn't need a viral video to feel something. She could feel something just by walking outside. The student noticed his focus came back. On day 1, he could barely study for 3 minutes. On day 21, he read for 45 minutes without looking up once. He wrote, It's not that the book got more interesting, it's that my brain stopped screaming for something else. By day 25, the reported anxiety dropped by almost 40%. They weren't necessarily happier in a euphoric way. They were just okay. They were okay with silence. We started this experiment to see if quitting social media would make people more productive. And yeah, the student got better grades. But honestly, that wasn't the real result. The real result was that they woke up. Social media doesn't just steal your time. It steals your ability to process emotion. When you feel sad, you scroll. When you feel awkward, you scroll. When you quit, you are forced to actually feel your life. One of the guys summed it up perfectly. I realized I wasn't addicted to the phone. I was addicted to avoiding myself. And for the first time in years, I met myself. And I actually liked him. Now, if you're watching this, you probably want to try it. But take my advice. Don't do 30 days. Not yet. You will probably fail. Start with 24 hours. Just one day. Turn it off. Lock it in a drawer. Expect the crash. Expect the phantom buzzing. And if you want to see more data-driven experiments on the human body, hit subscribe. We are building the biggest database of self-experiments on the internet, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. Next week, we're looking at what happens after 30 days of cold exposure. We tracked testosterone, immune response, and fat loss, and the results, well, they completely contradict what the gurus are telling you. See you then.